For centuries, the tyrannical Galactic Empire had crushed countless civilizations beneath its iron boot. But deep within the Sol system, a long-forgotten relic of humanity's technological prowess lay hidden. A colossal supercarrier, its true power concealed from imperial eyes. Until now. It had been over a millennium since humanity's exodus from the Sol system, driven from their home by the relentless expansion of the Galactic Empire. In their final act of defiance, the brightest scientific minds of the time had hidden away this vessel, entrusting it with the vital task of safeguarding humanity's future should the stars ever call them home again. And now, that day had come. As the scouting party's ship breached the outer defense perimeter, alarms blared to life within the supercarrier's command center. Seasoned officers sprang into action, their fingers dancing across holographic displays as they brought the vessel's formidable systems online. Weapons charged, shields flared to life, and the supercarrier's engines rumbled to power, ready to unleash the full might of humanity's forgotten legacy. The scouting party, a ragtag collection of Imperial drones and junior officers, never stood a chance. Within moments, their vessel was engulfed in a blinding flash of energy, reduced to nothing more than scattered debris drifting through the void. The message was clear. The Galactic Empire's dominion over this sector had been shattered. Deep in the heart of the Imperial capital, the Emperor received the alarming reports with a mixture of shock and fury. How dare these primitives defy his rule? With a clenched fist, he summoned his most trusted admiral, a ruthless and calculating strategist whose reputation for crushing rebellions was legendary. Admiral Kelvar, you are to take the 7th Fleet and investigate this disturbance in the Sol system immediately. The Emperor growled, his eyes narrowing. Discover the nature of this supercarrier and eliminate it with extreme prejudice. The Galactic Empire will not tolerate such insolence. Admiral Kelvar bowed low, his expression betraying no emotion. It will be done, my lord. I shall depart at once. As the admiral strode from the throne room, his mind raced with 1,000 possibilities. What kind of technology could have reduced an imperial scouting party to atoms in the blink of an eye? And who, or what, had built such a formidable vessel? One thing was certain. The Galactic Empire had faced many challenges to its supremacy over the centuries, but never one quite like this. The admiral knew that he would need to tread carefully, for the stakes had never been higher. The future of the empire itself hung in the balance. With grim determination, Kelvar began preparations for the journey to the Sol system, already formulating strategies to overcome this newfound threat. The Galactic Empire would not be toppled by some forgotten relic of a long-dead civilization, not if he had anything to say about it. When a routine scouting mission stumbled upon this ancient vessel, the Galactic Empire was shaken to its core. Fearing the potential threat, the ruthless Emperor dispatched his most brilliant and merciless admiral to investigate and neutralize this newfound menace before it could upset the delicate balance of power. Admiral Kelvar commanded the 7th Fleet, a formidable armada of state-of-the-art warships and seasoned veterans. As his flagship, the colossal dreadnought Absolute Dominion cut through the void, the admiral pored over the fragmented reports from the ill-fated scouting party, his brow furrowed in concentration. Weapons capable of vaporizing an entire ship in a single shot, he mused, his fingers drumming against the arm of his command chair. Shields impenetrable to our arsenal. This supercarrier poses a grave threat to the Galactic Empire. Turning to his chief strategist, Kelvar barked. Begin running combat simulations. I want to know every weakness, every vulnerability we can exploit. We cannot afford to underestimate this enemy. The strategist nodded, his hands flying across the holo console as he set the simulation in motion. Around them, the 7th Fleet maintained a tight formation, its ships bristling with enough firepower to obliterate entire star systems. As the journey stretched on, Kelvar found his mind drifting to the mysteries surrounding this supercarrier. Who had built it, and why had it remained hidden for so long? More importantly, what was its purpose? Was it merely a relic of a bygone era, or did it harbor a greater significance? The Admiral's musings were interrupted by a priority transmission from the strategist. "Admiral, the simulations are complete. I must report that our conventional tactics will be ineffective against this vessel. Its defensive capabilities are simply too advanced." Kelvar's eyes narrowed. "Explain. What are its weaknesses?" "None that we can reliably exploit," the strategist admitted, his voice tinged with unease. "The Supercarrier's shields are impervious to our energy weapons, and its point defense systems can neutralize even our most advanced missiles. Any direct assault would be met with catastrophic losses." The Admiral's jaw tightened. "Then we must find another way. Subtlety has never been my strong suit, but it seems we have no choice. Dispatch a team of our best operatives to infiltrate the Supercarrier and gather intelligence. I want to know everything about its systems, its crew, its _true_ purpose." "It will be done, Admiral," the strategist replied, already relaying the orders. As the flagship continued its approach to the Sol system, Kelvar gazed out the viewport, his expression grim. This was no mere rebel uprising, no simple skirmish to be crushed under the heel of the Galactic Empire. No, this was a challenge to the very foundation of their rule, a threat that could unravel the delicate fabric of their dominion. The Admiral clenched his fist, his knuckles turning white. He would not fail. Failure was not an option. The Galactic Empire would emerge victorious, no matter the cost. Arriving at the Sol system, the Imperial fleet was met with an impenetrable defense grid, its weapons and shields unlike anything the Galactic Empire had ever encountered. Attempts to hail the Supercarrier were met only with ominous silence, further stoking the Admiral's growing unease as he realized this was no ordinary vessel. As the Seventh Fleet entered the outer perimeter of the Sol system, a series of automated defense platforms sprang to life, their energy weapons and missile batteries training on the Imperial ships. Kelvar's eyes widened in shock as the first salvo of projectiles streaked towards his flagship, impacting the Absolute Dominion's shields with devastating force. "All hands, battle stations," the Admiral roared, his calm demeanor shattering. "Return fire, target those defense platforms." The Seventh Fleet's massive guns thundered in response, but their shots dissipated harmlessly against the platform's shimmering energy shields. Kelvar gripped the arms of his command chair, his knuckles turning white as he watched his vessel's futile attempts to break through the alien defenses. "Sir, our weapons are having no effect," his weapons officer reported, desperation creeping into her voice. "Those shields are impenetrable." The Admiral's jaw tightened. "Then target their power sources. Overwhelm their systems with concentrated fire." The Seventh Fleet unleashed a barrage of missiles and energy beams, pounding relentlessly against the defense platforms. But for every one they managed to disable, two more seemed to take its place, their weapons and shields regenerating with uncanny speed. "Admiral, we're sustaining heavy damage," the chief strategist shouted. "At this rate, we'll be overwhelmed in a matter of minutes. We need to fall back and regroup." Kelvar's eyes narrowed as he considered his options. Retreat was not something he was accustomed to. But the grim reality was that his fleet was outmatched. This Supercarrier's defenses were unlike anything he had ever encountered, a testament to the technological prowess of its creators. "Very well," the Admiral conceded, his voice tight with frustration. "Order the fleet to disengage and fall back to a safe distance. We need to reassess our strategy." As the battered Imperial ships limped away from the Sol system, Kelvar's mind raced. What was the purpose of this Supercarrier? Why had it remained hidden for so long, and what was it guarding? The Admiral was determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Back on the bridge of the Absolute Dominion, the atmosphere was one of uneasy silence. The crew had never seen their commander so thoroughly outmaneuvered, and the implications of their failure weighed heavily on them all. If the Galactic Empire could not overcome this newfound threat, what did that mean for the future of their civilization? Kelvar stared out at the retreating fleet, his expression grim. He knew that he could not return to the Emperor empty-handed. Failure was not an option. And so, he began to formulate a new plan, one that would require guile, cunning, and the element of surprise. This supercarrier would not keep its secrets for long, he vowed. One way or another, he would uncover its mysteries and ensure the Galactic Empire's domination over the Sol system. Recognizing that brute force would not suffice, the Admiral resorted to subterfuge, sending a team of his most elite and cunning operatives to infiltrate the supercarrier and gather intelligence. But these seasoned warriors were unprepared for the technological marvels that awaited them, and soon found themselves outmatched and outmaneuvered by the vessel's autonomous defenses. The infiltration team, handpicked by Kelvar himself, consisted of 5 of the Galactic Empire's most formidable Special Forces operators. Clad in state-of-the-art stealth suits and armed with the latest in Imperial technology, they slipped past the outer defense grid and breached the supercarrier's hull under the cover of darkness. As they navigated the dimly lit corridors, their enhanced senses attuned to the slightest movement or sound, the operatives couldn't shake the eerie sense of unease that permeated the vessel. The air was thick with an unseen energy, and the very walls seemed to pulse with an alien vitality. "This place, it's alive," one of the operatives whispered, his grip tightening on his blaster rifle. Suddenly, a series of bright red lights flashed to life along the ceiling, and a deep rumbling voice echoed through the hallway. "Intruders detected. All non-authorized personnel must be eliminated." Before the team could react, a barrage of energy projectiles erupted from concealed emplacements, their rapid-fire assault forcing the operatives to take cover. Scrambling behind bulkheads and consoles, they returned fire, but their weapons proved woefully ineffective against the supercarrier's defenses. "Damn it, our blasters are useless," another operative shouted, his face etched with panic. "What the hell is this technology?" The team leader, a seasoned veteran named Kara, gritted her teeth as she studied their surroundings, searching for any weakness they could exploit. But the more she observed the supercarrier systems, the more she realized that they were outmatched in every conceivable way. "Fall back," she barked, signaling her team to retreat. "We need to regroup and report back to the Admiral. This mission is a failure." As they made a desperate dash for the extraction point, the supercarrier's automated defenses pursued relentlessly, their energy beams scorching the operatives' shields and forcing them to weave and dodge through the maze-like corridors. Kara knew that they were running out of time, and that if they didn't reach the extraction point soon, they would be trapped, or worse. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the team burst through the airlock and scrambled aboard their waiting shuttle. As the craft peeled away from the supercarrier, Kara could feel her heart pounding in her chest, the adrenaline still coursing through her veins. "Admiral, this is Kara," she reported, her voice tense. "The infiltration was a failure. This supercarrier is unlike anything we've ever encountered. Its defenses are impenetrable, and its technology is generations beyond our own. We barely escaped with our lives." Kelvar's response was ominous. "Understood. Return to the fleet immediately. We have much to discuss." As the shuttle sped away, Kara couldn't help but feel a growing sense of dread. If the Galactic Empire's best operatives couldn't even set foot on the supercarrier, what chance did they have of stopping this ancient and powerful vessel? As the Imperial fleet waited with bated breath for their comrades' return, a sudden and devastating attack from the supercarrier's arsenal sent shockwaves through the Galactic Empire. Powerful energy beams and missiles tore through the Imperial ships with ease, leaving the Admiral no choice but to order a hasty retreat. The 7th Fleet had maintained a cautious distance from the Sol system, hovering just beyond the range of the supercarrier's defense grid. Kelvar had hoped that the infiltration team would uncover some vital intelligence that could be used to breach the ancient vessel's defenses. But when their shuttle emerged from the supercarrier's airlock, racing towards the waiting fleet, the Admiral knew that the mission had failed. And then the unthinkable happened. Without warning, the supercarrier's mighty arsenal came to life, unleashing a barrage of devastating firepower. Massive energy beams lanced out, slicing through the hulls of the Imperial warships as if they were made of paper. Missile after missile streaked towards the fleet, their advanced targeting systems rendering the ship's point defense batteries useless. Kelvar watched in stunned silence as his fleet was torn apart before his eyes. The absolute Dominion shuddered under the relentless assault, its shields flickering and failing as the supercarrier's weapons pounded mercilessly. All ships, evasive maneuvers. The Admiral roared, his composure finally cracking. "Return fire with everything we've got." The Seventh Fleet desperately tried to mount a counterattack, but their weapons proved as ineffective as they had been against the defense platforms. It was as if the supercarrier was anticipating their every move, responding with a level of coordination and precision that far exceeded the capabilities of any Imperial fleet. In the span of mere minutes, the once mighty Seventh Fleet was reduced to a scattered collection of crippled and battered vessels, their crews battered and demoralized. Kelvar gripped the armrests of his command chair, his knuckles turning white, as he stared out at the wreckage. "Order the fleet to fall back," he growled, his voice barely above a whisper. "We're retreating to regroup." As the Imperial ships limped away from the Sol system, the Admiral's mind raced. How could this be possible? The Galactic Empire had never encountered a threat like this, a technological superiority that rendered their vaunted military might utterly obsolete. Kelvar knew that he would have to report his failure to the Emperor, and the thought filled him with dread. The ruler of the Galactic Empire was not known for his patience or forgiveness, and the Admiral feared the consequences of such a humiliating defeat. But even as he considered the implications of his failure, a spark of determination began to burn within Kelvar. This supercarrier was a challenge, to be sure, but it was one he was determined to overcome. The Galactic Empire would not be toppled by some ancient relic, no matter how advanced its technology. With a renewed sense of purpose, the Admiral began to formulate a new plan, one that would require every ounce of his cunning and strategic acumen. The stakes had never been higher, but Kelvar was prepared to do whatever it took to ensure the Galactic Empire's dominance. Humiliated and enraged, the Emperor summoned the most formidable forces at his disposal, assembling a massive armada to crush the upstart supercarrier and erase this stain on the Galactic Empire's flawless record. But as the battle lines were drawn, a shocking revelation came to light. This vessel was not merely a remnant of humanity's past, but a harbinger of its long-awaited return to the galactic stage. The news of Admiral Kelvar's devastating defeat at the hands of the mysterious supercarrier spread through the Imperial capital like wildfire. The Emperor, a man accustomed to absolute dominance, was beside himself with fury, his trusted advisors scrambling to contain the fallout. "This cannot be allowed to stand," the ruler raged, his fist slamming against the arm of his ornate throne. "Summon the full might of the Galactic Empire. I want that vessel destroyed, no matter the cost." Within days, a colossal armada was assembled, its ships mustered from across the far-flung corners of the Empire. Thousands of the most powerful and advanced vessels, their holds brimming with elite ground forces and the latest in military technology, converged upon the Sol system, a celestial juggernaut poised to crush the upstart supercarrier. But as the Imperial fleet drew near, a series of stunning revelations came to light, shaking the foundations of the Galactic Empire to its core. First, the supercarrier's true nature was uncovered. It was not merely a relic of humanity's past, but a harbinger of their long-awaited return to the galactic stage. Buried within the vessel's databanks were records and schematics that told an incredible story, one that challenged everything the Galactic Empire believed about the fate of humanity. Centuries ago, a small but determined contingent of human scientists and engineers had managed to escape the Empire's oppressive rule, secreting away the most advanced technology they could salvage. Using this technology, they had built the supercarrier, an impregnable fortress capable of sustaining an entire human civilization. And now, with the supercarrier's reactivation, that civilization was poised to emerge from the shadows, ready to reclaim their rightful place among the stars. The Emperor's advisors, their faces pale with trepidation, warned that any attempt to subjugate this resurgent humanity could spell the end of the imperial reign. The technological gulf between the Supercarrier and the Galactic Empire's forces was simply too vast to overcome through conventional means. Faced with this sobering reality, the ruler found himself in uncharted territory. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire was forced to reconsider its iron-fisted approach. Its unquestioned dominance suddenly called into doubt. Kelvar, having returned to the capital to deliver his report, watched the proceedings with a mixture of relief and apprehension. He had seen firsthand the power of the Supercarrier, and knew that the Galactic Empire was ill-prepared to face such a formidable adversary. Yet the prospect of negotiating with these long-lost humans filled him with a sense of unease. As the Imperial advisors argued and debated, the Admiral couldn't shake the feeling that the future of the Galactic Empire hung in the delicate balance. The stakes had never been higher, and the outcome of the coming negotiations would determine the fate of countless worlds. Faced with the prospect of a resurgent humanity, the Galactic Empire found itself in uncharted territory. The Emperor's trusted advisors warned that any attempt to subjugate this newly awakened power could spell the end of the imperial reign, forcing the ruler to reconsider his strategy. Negotiations began, with both sides vying for the upper hand in the delicate dance of diplomacy, each aware that the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The Emperor's throne room was a cauldron of tension as the imperial delegation prepared to meet with the representatives from the Supercarrier. Kelvar, his reputation tarnished by his previous failure, had been chosen to lead the negotiations, his strategic acumen and diplomatic skills put to the ultimate test. As the Admiral strode into the dimly lit chamber, he was struck by the sheer gravity of the situation. The future of the Galactic Empire rested on the outcome of this meeting, and the weight of that responsibility weighed heavily on his shoulders. Across the room, the human representatives stood tall and resolute, their faces masks of determination. Kelvar had expected to see fear or submission in their eyes, but instead he saw a fierce pride and unyielding resolve that sent a shiver down his spine. "Greetings, representatives of the Galactic Empire," one of the humans spoke, her voice clear and unwavering. "We are here to discuss the terms of a possible alliance between our peoples." Kelvar took a deep breath, steeling himself for the delicate dance to come. "The Galactic Empire is willing to negotiate, but we must be assured that the Supercarrier poses no threat to our dominion." The human representative's lips curled into a wry smile. "I'm afraid that is not something we can promise, Admiral. The Supercarrier, which we have christened the Prometheus, is the embodiment of humanity's technological and scientific achievements. It is the key to our survival, and we have no intention of relinquishing it." The Imperial advisors erupted in outraged murmurs, but the Admiral raised a hand, silencing them. "Then what, pray tell, are you proposing?" "A partnership," the human replied, her gaze unwavering. "We are willing to share the Prometheus technology and knowledge with the Galactic Empire in exchange for resources, trade, and the recognition of our right to self-determination." Kelvar felt a surge of unease. The implications of such an arrangement were staggering. If the Galactic Empire were to acknowledge humanity's autonomy, it would mark a seismic shift in the balance of power throughout the galaxy. The mere thought of it was enough to make the Imperial advisors' faces pale with concern. The Admiral's mind raced, weighing the pros and cons of such a decision. On the one hand, the Prometheus represented a technological leap that could elevate the Galactic Empire to unimaginable heights, but on the other, granting humanity their freedom would be a concession of power that the Empire had never made before. Kelvar knew that he had to tread carefully, for the fate of countless worlds hung in the balance. One wrong move, one misstep, and the Galactic Empire could be brought to its knees. The stakes had never been higher, and the Admiral's next words would echo through the ages. In the end, a tenuous truce was forged, with the Galactic Empire reluctantly acknowledging humanity's right to self-determination. The Supercarrier, now christened the Prometheus, became the cornerstone of a new alliance, its advanced technology shared with the Empire in exchange for resources and trade. The balance of power in the galaxy had been irrevocably shifted, and the future remained uncertain as humanity took its first steps back onto the galactic stage. The negotiations had been arduous, with both sides fighting fiercely to secure the best possible terms. The Imperial advisors had pleaded with the Emperor to hold firm, to crush this upstart humanity, and reassert the Galactic Empire's dominance. But Kelvar, ever the pragmatist, had argued that such a course of action would be catastrophic, leading to a conflict that the Empire was ill-equipped to win. "We cannot afford to underestimate these people," the Admiral had warned, his voice grave. "Their technology is generations beyond our own, and their determination to reclaim their rightful place in the galaxy is unshakable. To defy them would be to court our own downfall." Reluctantly, the Emperor had conceded the point, recognizing that the Galactic Empire had been presented with an opportunity that could not be ignored. The price of admission, however, was a bitter one: the acknowledgement of humanity's autonomy and the establishment of a new, uneasy alliance. As the terms of the agreement were hammered out, Kelvar watched with a mixture of trepidation and fascination. The humans, led by a brilliant and charismatic scientist named Ava, drove a hard bargain, refusing to compromise on the Prometheus role as the centerpiece of their resurgence. In the end, the Galactic Empire was forced to cede significant concessions, granting humanity not just their freedom, but a share of the Imperial resources and trade routes. The signing of the treaty was a solemn affair, the weight of history palpable in the air. As the Imperial and human representatives affixed their signatures to the document, Kelvar couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The Galactic Empire had lost more than just a battle. It had lost a piece of its very identity, a concession that would echo through the ages. Yet, as the Prometheus's sleek silhouette loomed over the Imperial capital, the Admiral couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy had the chance to forge a new path, one where the Galactic Empire and this resurgent humanity could coexist as equals, their partnership a testament to the power of cooperation and mutual respect. As Kelvar watched the first wave of technology transfers begin, he knew that the future remained uncertain. The balance of power had been irrevocably shifted, and the Galactic Empire would have to adapt or risk being left behind. But for the first time in his long and storied career, the Admiral felt a sense of cautious optimism. The stars, once the domain of the Galactic Empire alone, now belonged to humanity as well. And as the Prometheus set course for the vast expanse of the galaxy, Kelvar couldn't help but wonder what wonders and challenges the future held.